Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about Jeff Clark's now effort to remove his case from Fulton County to federal court. I'll get to what I think is really the headline of all these things, which is Clark is basically saying, same as the Marauders are saying, same as the electors are saying, I did it because the President of the United States told me to do it. So as these 19 defendants are scurrying and setting up their defenses, it gets increasingly bad for Donald Trump. And everyone is kind of pointing the finger at him. Here's how it's worked for Clark in particular. So his offense, as delineated in the indictment, he is an acting assistant attorney general, not even the real guy. Not that that matters so much, but he writes a letter. And the letter is to Georgia officials. He drafts it, and it says to them, the Department of Justice has detected improprieties in your election, and you really need to look at this. Little problem. It was a bald lie. He was doing it at Trump's behest or to please Trump. That actually is important. I'll get back to that in a moment. And this is the idea that Trump had to just, basically get Georgians to kind of be second guessing themselves in that way, and my folks in Congress will do the rest. He wanted the talking point. It's almost like the first impeachment, where he just wanted Zelensky to say there's an investigation of Biden, and then he would run with it from there. But it was a total lie. So the immediate legal issue: can Clark be removed to federal court? And his basic argument here for getting removed is he is a federal official, right? He's a guy at the Department of Justice. And does he have a colorable federal defense, which is something he has the burden of showing. And his defense is, the President of the United States told me to, or I was doing it at the behest of, or to please the President of the United States. That's my defense. Remove my case, and then I'll move for immunity. So a few problems here. For starters, Clark declined even to appear. Mark Meadows, maybe because of Mark Meadows, came forward, testified, didn't do his case any good, and now has his testimony to live with. Clark waived his appearance and basically didn't show up. He tried instead to eat his cake and have it too by submitting a statement that he'd written. Pretty ham-handed attempt to get out of testifying. And the DA said, come on, we can't admit this statement. He's not here to be cross-examined. And the judge agreed. The federal judge, Judge Jones, who was deciding whether or not to have Clark's case be removed, agreed and refused to admit the statement, but it also sort of spoke volumes that he didn't even show up. But it left it to his lawyer to try to just argue or answer the judge's questions, and he couldn't even tell the court, did Clark do this letter, which is the basis of his alleged criminal liability, before or after he even had met Trump. He wasn't sure, and so it immediately undercut his own argument that he was doing it at Trump's behest or at Trump's order. He certainly was doing it to help out Trump by investing in the lie that he wanted to tell. But whether he was doing it at Trump's behest, he couldn't even show. And remember, he's got the burden here, and Judge Jones has been careful about that. When he ruled against Meadows, he really focused on the failure to carry the burden. So I don't see how he carries his own burden in this case. And therefore, I don't see how he can be removed. And even if he could somehow carry the burden of showing, Trump wanted me to, we get back to, what happened to Mark Meadows, which is it's just not part of the responsibility of a federal official to meddle this way in state elections, much less to do it through a lie. And the DA actually called to the stand someone. Clark didn't testify, but the DA had Jody Hunt, the successor to Clark as the head of the civil division to testify. This isn't, part of Clark's job description, and that's going to be some solid and now unrebutted evidence. So I think it's a pretty quixotic and very unlikely to succeed effort for Clark. He must think it as well because he was scared. Well, because he didn't even show up strategically for whatever reason. And so that's the skinny on the removal. And then just adding to that the fact that Clark, like other people, he's joining a growing club, is pointing the finger at Donald Trump. So when these cases are tried, especially if Trump is part of the overall trial and with multiple defendants, it's a bad dynamic for him where everyone is saying, yeah, I did it because of him. He made me do it. So we want to see what happens to removal, but it also augurs a bad situation for Trump at trial when that comes to pass, which we don't know yet, but we're going to be finding out relatively soon as Judge McAfee back in Fulton County kind of carves up the 19 defendants. We know the group of 2 is going forward, and soon, like about a month till jury is chosen, and then the other 17, how will they be carved up? But if Clark is with Trump, for example, then, the jury will hear Clark say, he made me do it. Not a good look for the former president. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.